guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nikki and I am the Managing Director of Ingenious Personnel, which is a recruitment agency. If this is your very first time on our platform, this is where we talk about recruitment, we talk about how you can get employed, and we talk about business. So on today's topic, we are going to be talking about how you can make a great virtual impression if you are interviewing at the moment. If this is something that you do like and enjoy, or topics that you do like and enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe so that you are notified every time when we do post our next content. Let's get to it. As mentioned earlier, today's topic, we are going to be talking about how to make a good first impression, which is a good virtual impression. With everything that is happening around us, we are no longer as fortunate to go or walk into an interview process and meet decision makers and shake hands and have that eye contact with decision makers. Right now, everything is done online, or everything is slowly moving online. Now, if you are an interviewer, how do you make sure that you're still able to connect with the interviewers, even though you're sitting at the comfort of your home? That's exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about making that good virtual impression and getting that job. Let's move on to tip number one. Tip number one. Tip number one is, if you are interviewing online, you need to make sure that the quality of your camera is good. So whether that is your phone, because you can interview on your phone if you do not have a laptop, or you are interviewing making use of your laptop, the quality of your camera or of your phone must be in good standard. Normally, these tools are built with good quality, but you need to work the quality, or you need to help your camera by making sure that you have good lighting. Because if you have good lighting, then the quality of your camera will improve. What do I mean? If you are interviewing, it's always best to sit under a window where there's sunshine coming in, or open the door so that you've got some lighting coming in, because your lighting will help your camera or the quality of your camera. It's no point if you've got great quality on your camera but you're sitting in a dark room. These two work hand in hand. Great camera, great lighting works hand in hand. If you can invest in like those lighting lamps, do that. But if not, utilize natural lighting, because that works just as good. So that is tip number one. Now let's move on to tip number two. Tip number two. So tip number two, I want us to talk about the angle of your camera. Because the angle of your camera, whether that you are making use of your cell phone or you are on your PC, it needs to be in the center. What I mean is that your face needs to be in the center. I have seen candidates, when I do my virtual interviews, all you can see is this part of the face, literally this part of the face. Or what other candidates do is they look into the camera, and it looks so freaky and so weird. All you see is the entire face in the camera. So what I'm trying to say is, when you do your virtual interviews, you need to see at least half of your body on the camera. Your face must be in the center of your camera. and you are looking straight into your camera. Some people, what they do is they would look at themselves, of which you're looking at yourself, you're not making eye contact with the interviewers. When you are virtually interviewing, you need to be looking at your lens, at the lens of your camera, or you need to be looking at, whether that's a PC or whether that's, a phone, you need to be looking at your lens, because when you're looking at your lens, you are making eye contact with your interviewer. Some candidates, what they do is they want to look at the picture the picture of the interviewers. When you look at the picture of the interviewers, this is how you look on camera. So you need to be looking at the lens, and if you can't find your lens or you forget to look at your lens, take a sticker and just put it on your lens that says, "Look here," so that you don't forget where to look. You can sometimes look at yourself on camera, but it's best to look at your lens, whether that is on camera or whether that is on your laptop, because that way you're looking straight at the interviewers. You're not looking like this and talking, because then that's weird and that's awkward. You must look at the lens. That was tip number 2. Now let's move on to tip number 3. Tip number 3. So tip number 3 is, you want to be early on that call. Imagine this was a face-to-face interview. You would want to get to the client's premises early, right? Same principle applies on virtual interviews. You want to log onto the call a few minutes early, whether that is 10 minutes early, and wait in the lobby. Because that's what these apps, will say. They'll say you are waiting in the lobby, and they'll play some music while you wait in the lobby. So you want to do the same thing. Log on early and wait in the lobby, rather than logging on exactly on the time, and then you have your system saying, Microsoft Teams is downloading. Then you need to download the system, and the interviewers are waiting for you. So you're trying to avoid all of those things early by logging on early onto the call and waiting. Again, I know with these apps, they like to do downloads. So make sure the night before you log on to these apps to make sure all downloads are out of the way, or new system uploads are out of the way prior to your interview. Don't wait for the last minute and then you want to download and you're making the interviewers wait for you. That is not professional and that is not acceptable. So that is tip number 3. Now let's move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4, and this is my last tip. I'll probably do like a second part of this video. Tip number 4 is dress the part. This is an interview. You still want to look professional. The nice thing about it now is that you don't have to put on a full outfit, because what the interviewers are going to see is just your top part. Stay away from this, the way I look today. It's extremely hot where I'm at. But what you want to do if you are interviewing, you want to put on a corporate jacket on. I have spoken about corporate wear, how to dress when you're going for an interview on a number of my interviews. I'll leave them either in the description down below, the links on the description down below, or I'll leave a card on top where you can just go back and refresh your memory in terms of what to wear when you go for an interview. But you do not want to go on the call looking like the way I'm looking. Put on a corporate jacket on. If you are a gentleman, put on a tie, look professional from the top only, because you are at home. Nobody is going to see if you are sitting at home and you're still in your pajamas from the bottom. What's important is you still want to look the part. Now, with virtual interviews and with cameras, you will notice on the camera that, if you need to put some makeup on, because the camera will focus on these key points. It will focus on your eyes. It will focus on the tip of your nose, sort of like here. It will focus on your forehead. So what you need to do is to make sure that you put on a blush, put on some concealer. Gentleman applies as well. Nobody's going to know that you have put makeup on, because the camera focus on these key points. And if you do not put some sort of blush or powder on there, you will appear shiny on the camera. So make sure that you do put a little bit of makeup on to look presentable on camera. That was my very last tip. Thank you for tuning in. I'll probably do a second video on these tips, but thank you for your time. If you have not subscribed onto our platform, what are you waiting for? I'll see you next time. Stay safe and keep well.